Okay, guys, welcome to Team Tuesday. That's what we call it for our team. I don't know about Heather's team. I don't know what y'all call it, but it rhymes. So
yeah, we call it that too.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I am, for those of you that don't know me, which would just be your team, I am Lindsay Long, and Heather and I got connected from a VIP page that we have. Again, if you guys can mute yourselves. I don't see what happened. Okay. So Heather and I got connected through a VIP page that we are part of, and we just were trying to be one team, one mission, and team up together. Different people just teamed up real randomly, and to either be a guest in someone's team page or do a Zoom together. And so me and Heather got connected. I don't even remember how, but I'm really glad we did. And we wanted to, first we were like, oh, we'll be a guest on each other's Zooms. And then we're like, nope, we will just do it together, because turns out ours is every single Tuesday at 8 and y'all's is at 9 and a different time zone. So we're really, really excited. We spent some time earlier today just chatting about things that we thought would be beneficial for you guys. And as we're talking, if you guys have questions, if you'll put them in the chat below, we can answer those at the end. I got a couple questions from my team page, and Heather, you may have some from yours. But anyway, so we just quickly wanted to share our story with you guys. I'm going to share my story, and then Heather's going to go, and then we're going to go through some what we think are really frequently asked questions, really important questions that we came up with, and we're going to each answer those. And then we are going to take questions at the end. So my name is Lindsay Long, and I am a triple diamond. I have been in the business, it's today the 9th. In 5 days, I will have been in the business for 2 years. I joined August 14th, and the reason I joined was because we were in desperate need of some side income or extra income to save up for a test that my daughter needed to have. So going back a little bit, I have 3 kids. They are now 8, 5, and 2. And my oldest was really sick as a baby, and not to go into all the details, had some brain damage. And ever since then, we've been looking for what could be wrong. I've been her advocate, if you will. I taught full-time high school arts for 8 years. And my 8th year, it was just really bad. And it was obvious that I needed to take some time to be home. And if you guys have ever been in a situation like this, every time you go to a new doctor, it's like you're starting over. So you really have to be your child's advocate, and you almost have to figure out what's going on yourself to know the right person to go to, or else it's extremely frustrating. So I did that. And the first year I was at home, it wasn't bad. Like, it was pretty good as far as like our finances went. It was tight, but it wasn't bad. My husband is self-employed, and that was a good year. Self-employment is feast or famine, and that was feast year. It was okay. So anyways, that summer we went to a Christian camp, and there was a couple there that wore the It Works stuff every single day. And I saw them wearing it, and I kind of recognized the logo and the saying, because I had a friend on Facebook, like we all do, who posted every single day about It Works. And so when she was posting, I remember thinking like, oh, that's cool, good for her. It never annoyed me, bothered me. I never unfollowed her, but it also never dawned on me that I'd want the products or the business. It was just a person, okay? So fast forward, the next year was awful. We had a $30,000 loss on our self-employment, and it was just rough. So that summer, we went to the same camp. Before we went there, I had 3 job offers from different schools, and we were trying to decide which one to pick. But in my gut and in my heart, I did not want to go back to work, because I knew Evie needed me, and we were really close to finding an answer. We had found a place that would do this incredible testing, but it was $4,000. They didn't take insurance, and you couldn't do payments. And so I was like, I felt stuck. So we went back to camp, and I talked to that couple. Y'all may know her. Her name's Lydia Daya. She's a presidential diamond. It was her and her husband that became our friends there. And she just went through the steps to success. She showed me how simple it was. I had no idea how much money she made. I had no idea where she was at in the business. I didn't even know any of that. But I just saw that I could control my own paycheck, for one, because self-employment, we haven't been able to do that. We're kind of at the mercy of how quickly the workers work. And I liked that. And I saw that there was a bonus for $10,000. And in my head, I thought that'll more than cover what Evan needed. So I came back from camp, and I actually got connected with the girl that had been posting on Facebook. I didn't know it mattered who you signed up with, but Lydia actually tipped off my Ambassador Diamond, Tracy, that lives in Tyler, Texas, and said there's a girl and she's interested, and I think she'll do a lot better if she works with someone local. Which, talk about one team, one mission. That was pretty awesome of Lydia. And then this girl, Tracy, knew that Hannah and I were connected and contacted Hannah, and then she stepped in as my enroller. And she poured into me, answered my 60,000 questions a day, was very patient with me because I didn't know the difference between BV and GV and PBV for forever. And she really walked with me, and a lot of my success is because of my connection with her. So went executive first month, Ruby second, Emerald fourth, Diamond sixth, and hit double in July of last year and triple in March. So that's my really quick story. Heather, I'm handing it off to you.
Okay. I didn't know you were a teacher. That's cool. I was a teacher too.
Oh.
Okay. So my story, I was a teacher, and I didn't love it. Like, I loved the teaching aspect of it, but I did not love everything else that came with it. I didn't love the stress. I didn't love the politics. I came home exhausted every single day, and I wanted to stay home. And I had no idea how that would happen because we couldn't afford for me to stay home, but I was willing to make any financial, cutbacks that we needed to make that happen. So literally my husband's paycheck covered our bills. And so we had to live very, very, very tight for me to stay home. And I knew that I had to do something. I had to find a way to bring in some income. And the only way that was going to happen was if I could do it from home. So I started actively seeking work from home opportunities, and there's not a lot out there. And I had no idea what network marketing was. I hated social media, and every once in a while I would get on. And I just so happened to see my friend post one time at a before and after, and then the second time it was her before and after. And I was like, what is this that she's doing? And so I messaged her, and I was like, what is this wrap thing? Like, that looks really cool. I think I could use that. And she had just had a baby, and she was like, tell me about it. And then she said, I actually decided not to go back to work and stay home and do this full time. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do. Like, we need to talk. And so we did that night. And like 2 days later, she came over, she wrapped me because I was going to sign up and all of that. And so I signed up. She wrapped me the night that I signed up, like after I signed up, and I got no results. But I could feel it working. I'm not a negative, pessimistic person. If she said it worked, then I believe her. I saw the pictures, and I saw other people's pictures. So I could feel it working, and I knew I would get results if I just kept going. And so I did. So that's kind of how I got started. We needed the income, and for me, the only option was to work from home. I see a lot of people, you give yourself a lot of options. You say, oh, well, I'll try this and see if it works. Or you say, oh, I would love to quit my job. I'll see if this pans out. But for me, it was, that I didn't give myself that choice. It was, this is going to work because because this is what I want to do. I want to work from home. So this is now my job. And you don't just quit your job, you don't just go in and say oh, I don't feel like working anymore, so bye. I mean, I guess a lot of people actually do that, and then end up jobless and stuff like that. But that's not a very good work ethic, and a good ethical person shouldn't do that on a regular basis. But you get my point. You don't just not work because you don't feel like it, And I just that I don't know that just being home with my daughter was what was most important to me. And so I refused to do anything else. I refused to go and get a job. And it's just amazing your mindset, that plays into that. Once you decide this is my option, the only option. No, differently you think about the business versus someone who's like, well, yeah, you know, I really would love to quit my job, or I really would love to, you know, make a couple thousand a month. Well, you're not there yet. Like, you're still giving yourself a choice. You're still giving you're still giving yourself room to back out, and that's just, you know, that's going to prevent you from moving forward. So that's kind of how I got started. And was that as far as into our story as we were getting?
Yeah, it's good to me.
Okay. Okay, so we wanted to go into oh, I didn't tell. Okay, so I went diamond. I was not as fast as her at all. I got started, and like I told you, I hated social media. I like really hated social media, and I was really bad at social media. But I was absolutely willing to learn if it was going to give me a paycheck from home. So it took me a little while to really learn how to use social media, which was a little bit slower process for me. So it took me 4 months to go Ruby, and I went Emerald the next month, so 5 months to go Emerald. And then I didn't go Diamond until 17 months in the business. So I sat at Emerald for a while. I lost my rank. I dropped from Emerald to Ruby. So if that's happened to you and you're feeling discouraged, just know that it's normal and you can still bounce back up. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean that you're you have people that you need to let go of, and you just need to keep going with the ones that want it. And then once I went diamond, I'm not going to go into everything that happened like to get me diamond right now at this moment, but it was a lot of mindset. And once I got to that and that happened, it changed my business. And I went diamond, and the very next month I went double diamond, which is a very huge jump, like $2,000 to $6,000.
Yeah.
So that right there, like, changed my life. And you know, like, that's freedom right there. Like, you know, like, when I went diamond, I replaced my full-time teaching income. But when I went double diamond, I like more than doubled, really. I mean, more than doubled my full-time teaching income, or at least doubled it. And then triple, that's a whole nother ball game. And it took me a year to go triple. So it's not, you know, so you can see, like, some people go faster, some people go slower. I love that. It's not the same for everyone, and you can't compare your journey to somebody else's. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we wanted to go into, we want to give you guys an idea of what it would, you know, like, okay, first of all, okay, like, raise your hand if you would like to switch places with us. If tonight you could just raise your hand and you could flip a switch and be a triple diamond with a $10,000 income, raise your hand if you would do that right now. Okay, so I see almost every hand raised. Okay, now what you got to realize is, are you willing to do the work to get to triple diamond? Are you willing to persevere for over the time that it takes to get to triple diamond and get that $10,000 bonus? I mean, paycheck. So what we want to do is we want to give you an opportunity to enter our lives tonight and kind of see what it takes and what it looks like to get that $10,000 paycheck, to be in our shoes, and use this as a learning experience to help you get there. All right. You want to start, Lindsay?
Yeah. I just wanted to say this real quick, and I'm going to try not to be ADD, if that's okay. But when I was listening to your story, because this is the first time for either one of us to hear each other's stories, I think that everyone has like a struggle rank or a struggle. Maybe we're going to have more than one because I've had tons. But it's interesting that you jumped, because diamond to double was so hard for me. And so I think it's interesting that you did that really quickly. And you know how some people will skip ranks and you're like, how in the world did they do that? But there's so much that you can't see behind a chart, you know, and there's so much going on. So anyways, I like that. Okay. So
I think someone had a question. I think Karen had a question. She said her hand is raised, but I can't see.
Oh, I think that happened when you asked people to raise their hands. They literally put their hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
And you guys are welcome to, if y'all would, ask questions in the chat, because that way we can kind of blow through this and then do questions at the end. That's okay. Okay. So one of our first questions was, where are we going and how do we plan to get there? And I think this question is loaded, for one. And two, I think every other question we're about to answer says how we're getting there, if that makes sense. So I'll answer it, and I'm going to bounce it to you, Heather, and you can do the next one. So I'm going for presidential. And honestly, the way my chart is set up, if I have several girls on my team that are going for the diamond bonus this month, that are set up to do it and really can make it happen. And if I look at what they're trying to do and just encourage and focus on that, then each one of those girls is exactly where I need them to be for me to hit presidential. And I'll go into this in more detail later, but if I look at how my month ended last month and I think about like the past or whatever, where I was, I could easily go, well, that's not going to happen this month. But if I focus on helping my girls promote and knowing where they're at, which is what I've been doing. And everyone has different theories on this, but if I'm going to help someone promote, then I'm working with them. And that's where my volume is dedicated for the month. I place everything. So I think everyone's different with that, but that's just what, Ashley taught me, my upline, Ashley Sinclair, you place to promote. And so for me, that's what I'm doing, is I'm focusing, the way I plan to get to presidential is to help these specific people on my team make more money, if that in the short. Of course, I'd love it to happen this month, and that's what I'm going for. So that's how I plan to get there, plus answering all these other questions, which talk about the how are you getting customers? How are you getting distributors? How do you work your day? So, but I plan to get to presidential by helping these 7 girls on my team get that bonus and change their family's life. So.
All right. So my goal is to go to the top, baby. I mean, come on, why not? No, but my goal is to go presidential, and then ambassador. And, I've spent, so November will be 3 years in this business. And I have spent this time so far really focusing on my next rank, pushing for that next rank. And this month, as I go for presidential, push for presidential, I am not focused on the rank for the first time. I have taken that pressure off myself, because I have found when I am focused on that rank, get that rank, I start dragging people with me. And I have found that long term, that's not good for my business. So what I'm doing is I'm focusing on growing my paycheck, and the people that are running with this and they want this just as much as I do, I'm helping them focus on growing their paycheck. And together we are focused on growing our paycheck as much as we possibly can this month. And we are doing, daily activities and pushes, and and like she said, a lot of the answers to the questions that were going to come is going to play into what we're doing like on a daily basis. But that's what I'm doing. I'm focusing on growing my paycheck as much as I possibly can this month, and helping those who want this, who are consistent and daily, working it every day and staying in contact with me, helping them grow their paycheck as much as they possibly can in this month.
Awesome. Okay. Do you want to do the next question, or you want me to? It doesn't matter to me.
Sure.
Leads.
So the next question is, how do you get new leads? I get this question a lot. Okay. So getting new leads comes honestly by, and you hear this like so much, but getting new leads comes by networking. This is a network business. And if you are not networking consistently every day, then you're not going to have new leads. And so, I get new leads by engaging with new people on Instagram, new people on Facebook, trying to get involved with things, like my daughter's in preschool, so I'm going to try and meet people at her preschool. Joining a mom's group. There's free moms groups like all around you. Go find one and get in it if you're a mom. if you're not a mom, there's go to meetup.com and find like a coffee group or a book club. Join something where you can connect with other people, church groups, Bible studies, putting my kids in things. Those are the ways that I find new people. And I don't just go up to somebody and say, hey, you should join my team, or hey, have you tried that wrap? I don't do that. I meet friends is what I do. I meet friends and then I friend them on Facebook. And then I use social media to further, that relationship and put my business in front of them to get them curious of what I'm doing. Facebook groups too, and the more you do that, then, and I have to say, like, I have been a very boring person because my daughter's only 3. She's an only child. I was like the stereotypical first-time mom, like got separation anxiety. So we never went anywhere. We were like, broke for a while until I started making money with this. So we couldn't afford to go anywhere. And, I get all that. I get it. But even during that time, there was a free moms group that I was able to attend. And I met a lot of people from there. And, a lot of them have been customers and stuff. So there's always options for you.
Awesome. I literally wrote down the answer you said, but I'll just back it up. So I can't agree. Yeah, I can't agree more. I do not cold message at all. I do not friend someone on Instagram or Facebook and immediately message them. There's a lot of reasoning behind that, but one of my reasons, and I like to say this, is I don't like to feel icky. I'm not a salesperson. I didn't join this business to be a salesperson, and I feel like that's salesy and it's icky and it's not personal. The other reason is I have found that the people that have joined my team, that we had a really solid connection before, even if it wasn't a long history, but the connection was really real, they have done better. I don't know the science behind that. I don't know. But those are the people that have really stuck with it. And so I would rather someone say yes to me if the timing is right after a year than immediately, because of our connection and them knowing my vested interest in them. So that being said, just like Heather said, I do a lot of networking. I do a lot of blitzing. And y'all, blitzing does not just mean I walk up to people and chunk a card at them. You blitz on Facebook. You blitz at parties. You blitz at the mall. You blitz at the gas station. Blitzing is basically just talking about the business. So I talk about the business on Facebook. I talk about it kind of wherever I am. I make it obvious. I'm gonna always have greens on the go with me. I'm gonna always have chews with me. If I'm somewhere where I'm sitting and listening to something, or I'm out and about, I'll put them in the water bottle, even if I've had greens on the go that day. I'm just really intentional about what can I do to make sure wherever I go, there's no question that this is what I do. And then I'm very intentional to like strike up conversation and listen. And if it feels appropriate to immediately talk about it works, I will. But if my goal usually when I'm meeting somebody is to somehow get their information, whether it's their phone number, connect on IG, or connect on Facebook. I want to connect because then, just like Heather said, I'm very consistent with posting about my life, and it works on them. And when they can see that, that's when the wheels start turning for them. And so that's how I get leads, is through relationships and being really intentional every time I leave my house. I do blitz a lot. And of course I still haven't tapped up my warm market, so there's no way y'all have. And I'm sure Heather hasn't, and she's been in probably longer than anybody on here, because if you've been in 3 years and this is your team, and I've been in 2 years, no one's been on longer than you. Good job. So I'm sure you haven't tapped out your warm market yet either. And we're always adding to that. And so that's where I get leads. It's from people and it's from relationships. I also do events, and so I get leads from that. But again, I've had distributors sign up at events that I've never met. And the only ones
you're good now.
I'm sorry, y'all. It's done that like 3 or 4 times, and it's making me like have anxiety. I texted my double. I said, pray my connection stays strong. I was just going to say real quick, I love doing events for leads. I have had people join as a distributor on the spot from events, but those people, it's only happened 3 times. They literally, fell off the face of the earth the next day. So I'd rather someone come into my business from an event that I have connected with on Facebook. Maybe they became a customer and I just took really good care of them, and then they upgraded. So again, it's relationship. The stronger the relationship, I think the better that they will do. And that relationship, of course, continues as soon as they join your team. The more that you build and get to know them, and not just, okay, let's get 4 customers or whatever, I think the better they'll do. So so that leads to the next question. So this, I like this one, Heather. This was Heather's idea, but it's, what does a day in the life of a triple diamond look like? And really, triple diamond, I like to say someone that's serious about this business. What does it look like? Like, what do we do for self-development to work our business? And I think that this is a question I get a lot, because I think I'll have people come to me and they're like really excited. And they're like, let's drop, repeat, steps to success. Okay, now what? Like, what does this look like? And so, what is the statistic? It's like 95% of people in the world want to be managed. They would choose to be managed over to be managed versus managing. And so to be your own boss and run your own business, while it is really appealing because you control your paycheck and your schedule, it can be daunting because there's no one telling you what to do. The only thing that's going to tell you what to do is this. And so for me, if my mind is strong, and if I feel strong, I physically am energetic and my mind is strong and feeling positive, I'm going to have a better day, because the only thing controlling my business is my mind and myself. So I do a lot to protect that. So I start my day with self-development. Sometimes it's listening to a book on audible.com. I freaking love Audible. If you don't know what it is, I can tell you about it later. But I'll listen to a book on audible.com. Right now I'm listening to something, Developing the Leader Within. And I'm also listening to a book on how to work Instagram. So I have like 2 ends. But sometimes my self-development is like sitting on the back porch with my coffee and just staring and just praying or journaling, whatever I can do to get my mind right before I open up Messenger, my text, my Facebook, any of that. Because if there is something, even if it's positive, I don't want to risk something negative being the first thing I see, or a frenzied, scared distributor that's like, like any of that. I just want to be in control of my day. And I know you guys have heard it said, like, you need to run the day, not let the day run you. And it's so easy to let that happen when you're not going to an office and someone's not sitting there watching you work for 8 hours. It's easy to like buzz around. We've got kids, or maybe you have a job and you're going 8 to 5. And the only time you can work is in the evenings. So for me, it looks like it starts like that. And then I usually will go in and get my kids adjusted with breakfast and get them happy, make sure that they're playing or doing something active that doesn't involve TV. And I will spend an hour or 2, really as long as they'll last, if I'm honest, working my business. I do, there's something called Power Hour, and I'm going to let Heather talk about that because I haven't heard it called that till she said it. But I already do the same concept. I just didn't know it was called that. But I created my own sheets, and they're like my daily worksheets. And it's every day, engage on Instagram, friend on Facebook, team connections, loyal customers. And I'll write down people so I know, and I can share that with y'all if you want. It's not that fancy, but it just fits me. And I wanted something that I could do every day. And if I want to go above and beyond that sheet, I will, but I wanted something I could at least do every day, because like I said, if I don't feel good about my business and I don't feel productive, then I get discouraged fast. And so I could have a super awesome work day and not sign a customer or distributor, but I feel good because I feel like I worked my business. And so that's really important to me. So I'll do that for a couple hours in the morning. I will do things, income producing activities for me does not involve scrolling Facebook. It doesn't involve organizing. It involves really working with my potentials list. I have a hundreds list that I constantly update, and I work a lot with my customers. So I do both of those because my best customers, some of my best distributors were customers. So I want to make sure that they're loving the products and liking the products. So I do a lot of working with my potentials, and I have it. You can't see it right here because you're on my computer, but I have a sticky note right here that sits on my Mac. And it's my Facebook hit list. I'll do my Facebook hit list. I have an Instagram hit list that I do. And I really do, I'm very intentional with my Instagram and the pictures that go on there. So I'm also making sure that I'm posting there several times a day and that the pictures look good and all of that, because I've signed distributors and customers from Instagram. So that's something that's working for me. So I'm going to keep doing that. But I'll spend that time in the morning. And then if we have errands to do or appointments, again, I take about a good 20 minutes. My kids get irritated because I haven't left the house, but I want to make sure I have a shirt on and I have my greens and all my stuff with me because I don't know who I'm going to meet. So all that to say that's kind of what a day in my life looks like. And then in the evenings, I do a lot more. Not a lot more. In the evenings, I do a lot of team stuff. We do Zooms, calls, online parties. That's when I will spend time, like my husband, if he's like, please get off the computer and hang out with me, that's when I'll sit next to him and get on Instagram and I'll search hashtags and find people to follow and connect with people. Or I'll schedule my post for the next day, take screenshots of posts I like. I'll do something. I'm a red personality, so it's really hard for me to just relax and watch the Olympics. I've got to be working. So I didn't mean to take up that much time. That's kind of what my day looks like. So
I love it. Okay, so if y'all can see this, I am very, very similar. One thing that this might be an answer to another question, but one thing I have learned is that if I just work my business a little bit here and there throughout the day, which I used to convince myself that was working for me, in reality, it was an excuse to not work as hard. And I have found that when I do that, I don't get as much done and I don't feel as productive and I get stressed out. Like my patience gets really thin with Savannah because she's distracting me from getting the work done. Because I can't get it all done because she's there. I got stuff I got to do and I'm just trying to fit it in all day long. And it's hard that it wasn't working for me. I don't know why was trying to convince myself that it was. It was an excuse to not sit down and like really focus and work hard for 1 hour. So anyway, what I do now is I get up like Lindsay said, and I start my first 15 minutes with a devotion. I'll do a worship song. I'll do a devotion. I get my mind right, just like she said. I start my day, with my priorities right, and on a positive note. And then I spend 45 minutes to an hour just messaging. Because if I don't message in a day, I don't feel productive. I don't feel like I've done what I needed to do for my business. And about 5 days a week. I don't have to do it all 7 days a week, but about 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week. If I don't spend a whole solid hour, 45 minutes to an hour just messaging, I don't feel like I've done enough. So, because I constantly want to have those leads and stuff. And so I'll play a motivational video in the background on YouTube while I send my messages. And sometimes I just play, like worship music or something. And then after that, my daughter gets up, we do breakfast. And while she's eating, she totally watches TV while she eats breakfast. And I use that time to do a personal post, to do a team post, to check in with my groups. I try to comment on at least 10 posts during that time, on Facebook and Instagram. And then I'll try to do like a 5-minute follow session on Instagram. And then, so by that time, it's about an hour of her like watching TV, and she kind of starts to go play, or is already playing. And so if she is playing, I'll just keep working. And if not, or if we have somewhere to go, or if, I don't know, sometimes I'll stop and just go do something with her. It just depends. But for the most part, there's a break in the morning where I'm not working, other than just, if I have a minute, I might respond to a message or something. And then I just have that Savannah time. And so usually from about 10 to 12 is Savannah time. And until she starts school. And then lunch, I will make a post during lunch. And depending on what lunch looks like, if she's busy doing her thing, then I'll squeeze in a few more things during lunch. But then she goes down for a nap. And what I have found is if I sit down, because there's a lot of days where I'm like, oh, I just want to like sit down and have like, just me time, quiet time, whatever, And I have found if I sit down to eat my lunch and watch a motivational video, I don't feel that way anymore. I immediately, I'm like, yeah, I want to work. So that's what I do. I sit down, I turn on YouTube, I turn on a motivational video, I get pumped up, and then I do a power hour. And depending on the length of her nap, I might do 2 power hours. And my power hours are strictly income producing activities. I do not respond to your messages. I do not respond to, I don't respond to notifications. I don't scroll Facebook. I will comment on my hit list and my hundreds list and stuff like that. But that is very strategic. It is very deliberate. I never just sit and scroll Facebook. If you're doing that, you're just wasting time. Even if you come trying to convince yourself like, oh, but I'm building relationships. I'm building relationships. No, you're not. You're wasting time is what you're doing. If you want to build those relationships, then you need to have your 100 list out and you need to strategically comment on those people's posts every day. And that's how you build relationships. So that's what I do during a power hour. And we're going to give you guys a list of income producing activities, and you can just see like what that consists of. But it's only literally things like she said. I don't organize, like that's not income producing. I don't whatever. I don't know. Do you need something? Okay, so then she gets up, and our afternoons are usually kind of crazy, and we'll do something, and then in the evening, I do a lot of responding to messages. And then I will, because you remember I sent those messages out in the morning. So I usually have messages that I'm responding to all throughout the day. And if it's a busy day, then I don't get to them until the evening. And then in the evening, about one day a week, my husband comes home and he immediately takes over Savannah, and I work for the whole night. So that was tonight. And pretty much every evening, it's just like Lindsay said, it's a lot of team stuff. I'm responding to a lot of questions, doing a lot, I don't know, like just team stuff happens during in the evening, doing Zooms, that sort of thing. And that's what my day looks like. And I try to go to bed by 10 so that I can get up early. Which doesn't happen very easily, but I think you're muted, Lindsay. I can't hear you.
All right, listen to me. I'm just okay. I wrote down a couple questions that are specifically were asked as you were talking, so I'm just saying that. So at the end, I'll tell you what they are, so you can answer them. Okay. Real quick, because we're not gonna be able to keep it to under an hour, but I'm trying. Okay, so 3 things we've learned in our journey, and I like this question because I think it's important to know that everyone's journey is different. So
and to know that you learned something.
Yeah. Do you want to do this one and then I'll go, or you want me to go? It doesn't matter to me.
You can go. That's fine. I need a break from talking.
Well, here's 3 things, and I showed them down pretty fast. But one, you guys probably have heard this saying, and I hope you know how true it is. But comparison is a thief of joy. When you're busy comparing yourself to where somebody is at, you're not working your own business. And I've heard it said that if you compare and you're doing better than them, then you're filled with pride. If you compare and you're doing worse, then you're discouraged. And neither one of those is a good place to be. And so I've learned not to compare. It's a struggle. I still do it. Someone joins our triple page and it's like, oh, I've been in the business for a week or whatever. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you're like, geez, like, can't I just get a break? I'm kidding, kind of. I know, you see what I'm saying? It's just easy to compare. And I think that one thing you need to know is they say your journey is your journey. That's very, very true. And I read this last week and I loved it, but you need to get to where you love the journey as much as you love the prize. So in our company, the prize is the check, or the prize is the rank. Well, here's the thing. You can run to a rank and get the title and lose it the next month. So if your goal and your everything is just that title, then you're going to really be kind of bummed out. But if you fall in love with the journey, because they say, network marketing is really just a personal development course that you get paid for. So if you fall in love with the fact that you're literally making yourself a better person, you're upping your resume, if you will, you are becoming kinder and more humbler and stronger and more confident, and all these qualities that people admire. You're becoming a leader, all these things. And then along the way, you're changing people's lives. To fall in love with the journey, then you'll be okay with the pace. I hope that makes sense. That took me, I learned that in I'd say the last 4 or 5 months, that I become okay with the pace.
Me too.
Yeah. And so like this month, I'm trying to go Prez, right? Honestly, I'm pumped about it because I just looked at where everyone was at and was like, oh, if I help them, it'll happen. But here's the thing. I'm more excited, and I can say this now, for these girls to get some dadgum commas in their paycheck. Like, that's what I'm excited about. And if I don't hit Prez till later, okay, whatever, because I know that the rank isn't where it's at. That's one thing I've learned. Second is I've learned that when I decide to do something, it happens. And I think that's a really powerful thing that I've seen both in myself and in my team, when they really decide. And I'm not just saying it, because you say you want to go on a diet, you want to exercise and all that. And I've said that before when I want to do something and I don't really do it, but I've seen when I decide to do it and it happens, and it's crazy. And it shows you, just like I was saying before, how powerful your mind is. And so that excites me to know that I am in control of my own business. And the last thing I've learned, this business works if you just do these simple things. And it's shocking how many people just don't do the simple things. I remember when I first started, my leader was like, wow, you're doing amazing, and you've got what it takes to go ambassador. And I thought she was just being nice. I'm like, okay, she probably says that to everybody. But the longer I've been in it, the more I'm like, not that many people work. And when I say work, I mean even just being consistent every day with some posting and messaging, like down to the minimum work. And y'all, just posting and messaging a few people, to me, that's super minimum. The way Heather described her day and I described my day, to me, that's working the business. And even still, I'm not putting in 40 hours. You know what I'm saying? But just, if you just do the things the company tells you to do, you make a lot of money. There's not that many people. Did I just go lost connection again? I felt it. There's not a lot of people that really work this business. And I hope y'all, does that make sense what I'm trying to say? I mean, there's however many thousands of distributors, but if you look at the percentages of people that promote, you could look at that and go, oh, well, that just shows you how hard it is to promote, or they're just the lucky ones. No, those are the people that went, oh, I like this opportunity, and I'm going to just do what they say and be consistent. Oh my gosh, I just made $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I learned that really the people I've seen, no matter the personality or the background or whatever, the people that just take it seriously, they make money. So, your turn.
Okay, well, that's really good. I don't know if I want to follow that.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay, 3 things that I have learned, and I'm always learning, which I love. Oh, shoot. Something that you said was totally something that I wanted to say, and no, I can't remember what it was. I forgot to write it down. But so one big thing that I have learned is, and I loved what you said about comparison. Yeah, that totally prevented me from promoting to Diamond for ever.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing I've learned: stay plugged in and connected with your team.
Yes.
I have learned that if you disconnect yourself and start thinking and I like to lead. So, and I like to I have awesome ideas and stuff, but I can't, I need support and I need help to execute them and all I can't do it alone. And so even if you find yourself you just really thrive on leadership, you still need that connection. You still need that support. And there have been 2 very key times in my business where if I had not been plugged in, I literally would have quit. I even quit for a whole entire day. And my husband was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep working the business for you. And I was like, oh. And I was like, fine. Today I quit. And And so the next day I got back on the bandwagon. But, you know, that is kind of part of like the one thing that I've learned is that you're not going to be on a high this whole business. You're not. You are going to get in a rut at some point in your business. Sometimes it happens at the very beginning of your business. Sometimes it happens later on. There was a time when I thought I was kind of in a rut, and then I realized, but just like last month, no, that was the mud. I was like, that's kind of goes back to where I talked about before. Like, you have to know that that's going to happen at some point in your business. And if you're giving yourself a choice to quit, you're going to quit at that time because it's hard. But if you're connected and you're plugged in and you're reaching out to people, that's what's going to get you through it. And that's what I've learned. Like if you, and I've learned that from people that with me, the people that reach out to me and they admit like, look, I'm struggling. I am, you know, life is getting hard. I'm having a hard time, you know, balancing, or I'm having a hard time with this or whatever. And we say, okay, you know what? Let's make a plan. Like, you can do this. And they get plugged into the team page. They start getting on calls. They start getting on these Zooms. It turns around for them. Mm-hmm. And then the people that don't, the people that disconnect themselves and they give up, you know, they give up. So being plugged in and connected with your team, with your sideline people. And I love doing group chats with people who are at the same place in their business. And that way they can feed off of each other. They can encourage each other and I can encourage them. And it's very motivational and encouraging all around. A second thing that I've learned is how important personal development is. Oh my gosh, I went the first 2 years of my business without doing personal development. And it literally makes such a big difference. Like, I cannot tell you what a difference it makes sitting down at my lunch break and watching that motivational video or reading some of my personal development book. Like, I cannot tell you the difference that makes in my business and my mindset and just keeping you excited and like, I don't even know, like, you just got to do it. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing that I have down that I learned is that you can waste a lot of time convincing yourself that you're working. And that kind of goes into what I said earlier about, you know, like I can just, like, you can be scrolling Facebook and being like, oh yeah, I'm working, I'm building relationships, but you're not. I can convince I could spend a whole day doing stuff team related and convince myself that I'm working because it's growing my team, but it's not working my business. It's not income producing for my business. So you really need to take a look at what you're doing and make sure that you are specifically working on income producing activities on a daily basis. Those are my 3 things.
Those are good.
My next question is, I feel like the next question is almost kind of the same thing, but like a little deeper.
Yeah. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And I'll answer this one fast. Sorry, just a second.
I'll read the question.
Yeah, you're good. My husband was trying to get into our room and I'd locked the door. So yeah. Okay. Isn't it, what are 3 things that are crucial, like non-negotiables, if you want to maintain get a $10,000 paycheck? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wrote the answers, but not the question.
You got it. 3 non-negotiables.
I'm going to say this really fast because we have one more after this, and then we have their questions. If you want to make the crazy money, you have to become a professional asker. You can expound on that later. You have to ask people to join your team. You just do. You have to put in the work. You got to work. You got to work the business. And everything you said, Heather, I like all of it. I feel like your brain is in my body and I like it. That was awkward. That was really awkward. But I think I agree. You can convince yourself you're working because you are listening so much to, or not listening, you're thinking so much about the business. So you've convinced yourself you've worked because you feel like you worked, but you didn't do anything. And that's, again, that's where the challenge is with being your own boss. You've got to set up some checks and balances and some accountability. I can give some tips on that later, but you got to put in the work and you have to do the steps to success. And you got to try and make someone go Ruby in your business every 60 days. Every 60 days, you are personally promoting a Ruby. Steps to success. You can't just tell your team to do it and get in management mode, or I heard it said recently, encouragement mode. You've got to be as hard on yourself as you're thinking your team should be. Because I know some of us do that. We're like, well, my team's not, so you've got to be doing it. And when you transfer your thinking to that, those are just 3 really simple things. But I think that's how I made $10,000. So
that okay. Yeah. So that just kind of shows how important, because I have never give up. Like, it can't even be an option for you. Like, it all starts in the mind. And if I've already said it like 5 times, and I'm going to say it again. Like, you cannot allow yourself to have the option to quit. It cannot be an option. Do those daily affirmations. Speak over yourself in this business every single day. Second, work your own business. Don't try to work other people's business for them. And sure as heck, don't expect anybody to get you where you want to go. If you want to go to Diamond, you need to write out you need to get that chart out. You need to count how many boxes you need, which is a distributor. How many distributors do you need to get to Diamond? And you need to make a plan to sign that many distributors. It takes 24, by the way. 24 distributors to go Diamond. Okay? You need to plan on signing all of those. And if somebody else signs some, that's awesome. That's one less that you can have to do. But you need to make the plan to do it yourself. Work your own business. And then 3, invest in your business, because it's your business. It's not a hobby. It's not this little pastime. It's your business. Be the brand and be proud. Go to conference, go to green carpet, run your auto shipment so you can have product to be a product of the product. That is what makes people believe in you and want to buy from you and want to join you. And then buy a shirt. You are a brand. I love how somebody said the other day, because I was asking, I was like, okay, so really, where all do you wear your shirt, your clothes, or where do you not, and they're like, look, it's a brand, just like Nike. I wear it everywhere except for church or maybe a date. And I was like, oh, that's a good way to put it. It's like a brand, just like Nike, so don't be embarrassed to be that rap girl. You want to be that rap girl. You want to represent your business and be the brand. So when that person's ready to join, they're going to think of you and come to you. Or they're ready to, order, they're going to think of you and come to you. Invest in your business. That's my 3 non-negotiables.
Awesome. Okay. But how about let's just do one quick tip on helping a distributor get started. And then we'll jump into, you go. Why don't you go first? What's your best tip on just helping a distributor get started?
I didn't get to that question
okay.
on my brainstorming. Go ahead. You answer. Okay. You think
mine is just to keep it super simple by helping them get their first win. I could go. There's a lot of tips. Of course, y'all know there's a lot of things, but that's the first one. Is I just want to help them get their first win, which is that first customer. So we just start there. I'm like, okay, you're in. Let's get you a customer. Let's start with that. And whatever that looks like, usually I'll have them give me names. I'll have them tell me about those people, and I'll help them come up with a message for that person.
I'd probably say my one biggest tip is to get in a group chat with your enroller and get started the day you sign up. Don't wait for your kit. Literally get in a group chat, do everything in that group chat so that your enroller can walk you through everything. Everything. If somebody if someone comments and stuff, you don't need to know everything. This is a learning process. Don't be afraid to tell people, oh, I'm new. Here's my enroller. She's going to help us work through this to make sure I get all your questions answered.
Awesome. Okay. Last question is how do you deal with failure?
Failure.
Not failure. Well, I think it said failure, but I think it was supposed to be negativity or people being.
Just frustration.
Frustration. Sorry.
Yeah, negative.
Like negativity, the haters, whatever, the naysayers.
I say hashtag bye Felicia. I ain't got time for you. I don't deal with haters. Like I don't have time for them. If you're not bringing positive vibes into my life, then I don't want you in my business anyway. And I won't necessarily like block them on Facebook or anything like that, but I'm not gonna like message them to join my team.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that tell me no and stuff, or like I remember I specifically had somebody tell me like, oh, me and my husband, we don't do those types of things. He's a big gym workout person or whatever. And then like she had a baby a year later, messaged me to do the wraps. So you just never know what people's situation is. Mm-hmm. And I forgot what the question was.
I think that was it. It was just, how do you deal with frustration?
Oh, yeah. And personal frustration, I deal with it by literally like personal development. Like that's what I do. And engaging with other people. Like I was in a rut. I was stuck in the mud. So I found some YouTube videos. I found other people that were stuck and wanting to get out. And we just worked together. And together we've just been motivating each other and encouraging each other. And all of a sudden, I'm like so excited.
That's awesome. Okay. For me, and y'all probably heard this, but if someone's negative, my first thought is they're not paying my bills. I don't go to somebody else and be like, that's so weird that you're a lawyer. I just would never do that. It's so weird. I'm such a skeptic about lawyers, but whatever. It doesn't matter. This is how I'm paying my bills. And quite frankly, it's working. And then also I have noticed that sometimes we think the opinion of one is the opinion of all. So if one person says, would you stop posting on Facebook, or gosh, that's all I ever see, or something, we tend to think, I bet everyone thinks that. And we immediately go into like a little shell. But the opinion of one is not the opinion of all. And the last thing I've noticed is grumpy people get grumpy. They find something to be grumpy over. People that are skeptic find something to be skeptical about. People that are like picky about every single ingredients and where algae was, whether it's toxic or not, they're like that about everything. And that's just how people are. But you know what? Joyful people are joyful and positive people are positive. And so there's both out there. And I've also, one of my favorite quotes I've heard recently that I think it was Tony Robbins said, someone was saying to him that they're skeptic or they're pessimistic. They just don't know about that. I don't know the conversation. He said, no, you're gutless. And I love that because it takes no energy. It takes nothing. It requires nothing of you to be skeptic. You just sit there like this. But to go out and do something that other people are naysayers on, that takes guts and courage. And I'm like, I'd rather be that one, So, okay. These are the questions. There are 4. So we're going to buzz through these real quick. Is that okay? I'm going to do the ones that, it happened again, didn't it? It happened again.
It did, yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, there are 4 questions, and I'm going to buzz through these really fast. If you have questions as we're going through these, please put them in the chat. I pulled these out of the chat off my phone. And
okay. I can see them too.
Okay, good. So this one pertains to you, or it was asked when you were talking. I could answer it too. But it was, how many hours per day do you work, or per week? Do you have a dedicated day off that you take?
I do take a day off because I work really hard. And if I don't work really hard that week, then I don't take a day off. But I will usually take Saturday off. I always work on Sundays because I feel like it's a very active time for me in the late afternoon and evening. And there's usually one day during the week that is busier that I can't get as much done. I don't take it off per se, but I may not do, 3 power hours. I might just do 1 or 2.
Okay. Awesome. I guess my answer is pretty much the same. I take Sunday off. And usually most of the day, and in the evening, that's when I sit down and think through my week and stuff. But I'm the same. If I feel like I haven't done enough, I'll do more. And yeah, I guess I'm doing, if I was to stack and compress everything together, I guess it'd be about 3 or 4 hours, because I'll do like 1 or 2 in the morning that are real focused, like we talked about. And then in the afternoon, if the kids are busy, I'll squeeze in more, like you said. And then in the evening, I do a lot. Okay. This was sent to me when you were talking about your morning, and you were talking about how you message people before your daughter wakes up. When you message, who are you messaging? Is it your hundreds list, blitzing, leads? How do you decide who to message? Sorry,
Okay.
that was the question.
That's okay. So I do a couple different things. I will do one day a week. I will do all follow-ups. 1 day a week, I do cold message on Instagram. But I try to, okay, so I have a list of people, like a hundreds list for Instagram and a hundreds list for anyway, I have a hundreds list for Instagram. So I will make that list, and then I'll spend like a week commenting and stuff, or a week or 2 or whatever. And then I will cold message them. And sometimes I get impatient and I don't interact with them for that full 2 weeks. And I know that's like kind of like what Lindsay said is way better, but I get really impatient and I just, like I have to get those leads out. Like I have to get the word out there. So I will do that like 1 day a week, follow up 1 day a week. What else do I do? Obviously, that's more than 1 day a week. Oh, I will. So we have an online party, 2 online parties, 2 online parties a month or whatever. And so I will message. Okay, so I do these interactive posts, and I go through and I make my hundreds list for like that week or whatever based off the interactive posts. So whoever commented, I go and I write them on a list. And it's not a post about It Works. It's just like some interactive post. And so I make a list of those people. Then I go through that list and message all of them, about this. It's a specific message about, would they be willing, I don't know, something about coming to, would they be willing to accept an invite to an online party? That's not the message, but it's, something along those lines. And I can get about 50 messages in an hour. So, that's not that much, but, just depends. But those are some different things that I do. And then after the party, I will go back through that list, and when they said yes and I added them, sent them the invite, then I put a check mark by it. I can show you guys so that you know what I'm talking about. And like this. You see those pink check marks? So after the party, I'll go back, and everyone who has a pink check mark, I will know that they said they were going to go to the party, and I'm going to expect them to do what they said they were going to do. You want to always assume the sale. You want to always assume that somebody did what they said they're going to do. And so then I'll message them as a follow-up, prior or after to the party. And so that'll be messaging like, the morning after the party or whatever.
Okay. I like that. I just learned something new. I've learned a lot of new things in the last hour, but that you do an interactive post and use those as leads. And I've noticed that because I'll post about It Works, and it's like, crickets. But I'll post about watching the Olympics and not having an antenna 3 days ago, and people are still commenting on it. And I'm like, so I like that. Okay. So
it prevents you from going, I don't know about you guys, but I get so stressed out going through Facebook and trying to make a hundreds list. I can't even do it. It's just so stressful to me. And so this just narrows it down and makes it so much easier for me. So,
awesome. Okay. And I'm going to type a personal question to you later about that. Not that I don't want everyone to hear, but I'm just trying to keep the time.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I was going to say too, just real quick, when you said the Instagram thing, I will message people after a week or sooner if I feel like there's a good connection. Like I friended a girl, and she went on 3 different photos and asked me 3 different questions. So I messaged her privately and answered them. So, you know what, when I said cold messaging, I hope y'all knew what I meant. I didn't mean that I won't like just message someone I've connected with. I mean, like, you know, where people friend 100 people a day and then like they friend them and immediately message them. So I don't do that. Okay. All right. What social medias are we plugged into? I know mine, Instagram, Facebook, done. What about you?
Instagram, Facebook.
Okay. Because they're owned by the same people and they want to make all the money. So Facebook basically took over Periscope with the live thing. Hello, in case you don't know that. And Instagram has the stories now, and that's like Snapchat. So I don't mind getting into something else later, but right now I haven't even began to understand and completely conquer where I'm at. So I'm staying in my lane.
And it's always changing too. Like,
yes.
Be willing to change with it.
Yeah. For the love. Okay, the last question I have here, and then if you have any from your team page, you can pipe in these. What are your best party tips, or our best party tips for getting people to come to parties and getting them to buy stuff?
Oh, I have no answer for that. I've never had a person show up at my party ever.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll give one that I have found work for me. If you guys want to use it, great. I have two. One, I like to say take the weird out of it. When people hear the word party, they immediately like freak out. So if you're launching or you're new, or if you've never even had a launch party, what I like to say is I would say contact people close to you that, like, if your dog was sick or something happened to your kid, they'd come over, or what, you know what I mean? Someone close. And I would say, hey, I am going to be doing like a quick get together after the kids go to bed Thursday night. And I'm going to go through the products I have, and I need to practice on people I'm really close with. Would you come just so I can like have the safe environment to talk about this? That's one, because I think that people that are supportive will be like, sure. The other thing I'll do, and we've been doing this like recently, we'll just do like a community night at my house, and there will be wine and chocolate and food and stuff. Now, again, this is not necessarily for a quick party. This is like something I've just been trying. It's like a backdoor approach. And I'll ask people to come, and they don't walk in the door and I'm like, surprise, it's an It Works party. Like, I don't do that because that's rude. But I'll have the stuff just sitting out. One time we made essential oil bath bombs with our essential oils, and the girls knew what I did because I was wearing my shirt and stuff. And they got exposure to it. And then we friended on Facebook. And since then, I've had pretty much every girl that I invited has ordered from me. So that's one thing. The other thing is keeping it. Now this is like, I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself. That's a community thing that I try and do just to get to know people. The other thing is keeping it simple and saying, hey, Heather, I'm going to be at Starbucks on Thursday at 5. I will give you a free wrap if you will come and just hang out and bring like 2 or 3 friends with you that are interested in these products. That's something I'll do because it's not her house or my house. There's no food involved or babysitters or vacuuming. It's like Starbucks or McDonald's. And then when you say, how do you get people to buy? Honestly, if I can get the products in front of people, and I don't skip a product, I go through the catalog and give 2 to 3 sentences on each product. But if I can get them to get in front of the products, usually I would say like 95% of the time they become a customer or a distributor. And I also assume the sale. I don't say, do you want to try a product? I'm like, okay, so what did you want to start with? And did you decide if you want to order as a customer or a distributor? So that's a really fast answer. And there's really good videos on YouTube about parties. But I've only done like actual at my house in 2 years for me and my business 2. I've done a lot of parties for my team. And again, my only 2 that I did had like 3 or 4 people, which in my book is like, hello, that's a success. Cause usually no one comes, like Heather said. So
I think that's good. And I like the parties that I have done. I always like to learn something about them. Sometimes I'll list one time I took a whiteboard and I had listed out like all these different things we had a product for, and I would have them pick one and write it on an index card, and then pull out the catalog and say, okay, I have a product you're going to love. You need it. It will help you with this. So that kind of makes it easy. And I guess you didn't see it. There's other questions over here.
Oh, can you help me?
Yeah. What YouTube channels do you watch for motivation?
Ooh, you go first.
Probably have to like pull them up to look. I love Tony Robbins. I love, Les Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to pull up the other ones to remember what they are. I don't know. I just honestly, like a lot of times I'll just type in like, oh, and I like Jim Rohn, even though he's a little bit old school. Like I love him.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a lot of times I'll just type in like motivational success videos or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I like Ashley's. She's my upline, but her stuff's really good. One of the
we're talking about that kind of stuff.
Oh, I don't know. Well, one of the best, I was gonna say one of the best videos I've seen, and it's not even something to see, it's something you listen to. And if y'all haven't, y'all need to go watch it tomorrow. Like everyone on the Zoom, watch it first thing in the morning. I've watched it so many times or listened. Is The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale.
Is that on Netflix?
Huh?
Is that on YouTube or Netflix?
YouTube. It's just him. It's him reading out loud the book, The Strangest Secret. It's 30 minutes. I know it sounds weird.
I haven't done it yet, but I've been told The Secret on Netflix is like,
oh yeah,
you have to watch it.
Yeah, that's different. I have heard of that. That one's different. This is like 1950s book.
Ah, okay.
Which now y'all all want to read it because it sounds so exciting. But trust me, like it. Please just watch it. Listen to it. There's nothing to watch. Listen to it. Okay. The only question I saw, Heather, unless I missed something, is how do you handle giving away free products? There are times where my leads are not responding and I need to get LCs. If you mean giving away free product just to get someone to order, is that what she's asking?
Okay. Well, we can't bribe people, so you can't technically post or message people and say, hey, if you sign up today, I'll give you a free product. Or every customer that signs up today gets a free product. That is not really compliant. But I will give free samples away sometimes. Actually, I do that a lot. About once a week, I do like a free, like I do some kind of interactive post on Facebook and give something free away. And then everyone that commented on that post gets an invite to the online party. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And I was going to say, I don't want to have someone buy my products because I begged them on my hands and knees.
Yeah.
So
those people that are not responding, they will eventually respond. You just have to keep following up with them. Like literally, you guys, sometimes I follow up with people for a year before they sign up. And they will eventually sign up.
And while you're waiting on them, go find other people, because there are people that want these products. You'll find them. And that is the exact question I was going to ask Cheyenne. Awesome. Love you.
Okay, so an example of an interactive post would be, I got a ton, like I got 200 and something comments on my last one, and some of them aren't good. Like I tried one tonight and crickets, so I'm gonna have to do something different. But I did like 4 different sunglasses, and I said pick a number behind, I don't even know like what it was, but basically like pick a number, you'll get a free product. I'll pick a winner tonight before dinner for a free product or something. And so people just commented a number for the sunglasses. Who knows what they thought? Maybe they thought I was giving away a free pair of Ray-Bans. I don't know. I said free product. But I got a lot of comments. That's an interactive post. Or like, I love both of these dresses. I can't decide which one I want. What do you pick? Or I'm painting my office. I'm trying to decide which color. What do you think? I'm getting my nails done. I can't decide. Which one do you think? Giving them numbers to where all they have to do is like pick a number. And that is an interactive post that I do. And there was another question. Let's see. How do you follow up, get with new customers without seeming pushy? So I think like being pushy is just, it's kind of, I feel like if you're being tactful and you're being thoughtful, then you're not going to be pushy, because following up with somebody means that they have expressed interest and you are just reminding them, but like if somebody never responded to you, then you can't follow up with them because you have no reason to follow up with them. They never responded to you. They are not a potential. But if you did, that would be pushy. And I just feel like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Lindsay?
Same. Like one, we have two jobs in this company, and it's to get distributors and to get customers. And it's not somebody else. It's not the distributor, like the potential DT or potential LC to come to us. It's our job to go to them, because we're the one with the product that we want them to have. So, I also feel it out. Like if I feel like they need space, I'll give them space for a few days or a few weeks or whatever the feel is. But I mean, Heather's right. Like I've had people a year and a half later sign up, and that doesn't mean every week I'm messaging them. So if I feel like I'm being pushy, or if I don't like the way I feel, then I'll back off for a little bit. The other thing is people are so busy and flighty and have so much going on that I try and do a message. My little rule is a message that's short enough that you can read it without unlocking your phone. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know how when someone messages you, you can like, hey girl, 2 spots left for hair, skin, and nails. Are you in? Hey girl, do you still want to make extra money? I'm just wanting to check in, follow. And, one thing I'll say is follow up is part of my job, or follow up is a very important part of what I do. Or I'll start the message. I did this today. Hey, I do not want to be that person, and I'm starting to feel crazy or like I'm annoying you, but I know that you were interested in this at one point, and so follow-up is really important, and it's just part of my job, and so I just want to see if you're still interested because you said you were. I mean, I won't say that. And then sometimes I'll say, or should I take you off my list? Yes or no, ? And it gives them a chance, like with a smiley face, yes or no, like pick one. And what's interesting is I'll have people that don't say anything for like 5 blue boxes that are all mine, and then they'll be like, don't take me off your list, so sorry, I've been busy or whatever, when they get the chance for me to just, hey, yes or no, what's going on. And so I like that. And then some people are like, yes, please take me off your list, and I'm like, thanks, I will. And I don't. They go somewhere at the very back, but it's nice because it's like, oh, thank you, like there's something to close out. So being just real direct.
Being direct is not the same thing as being pushy. I mean,
right.
I feel like you should just disregard that, like, and don't even give a thought about being pushy. Like, I don't know, unless you're just not tactful. I don't know, like a message. Okay. So like you could send a message and saying, are you going to sign up now? That might be kind of pushy. It's just kind of rude. It's thoughtless, but I send very short messages just like she does. And I just say, hey girl, I have 1 spot left for hair, skin, and nails. Are you in? It's yours if you want it, but you have to sign up today. And I know a lot of people don't like doing the whole 1 spot left thing. But I always have 2 or 1 spots left for that hour. So I'm not lying. But, when I talk to everyone, that day that they're interested, I have 2 spots, and 2 days later I follow up. I have 1 spot left if they want it today. And if they don't, then it's gone, and I'll have to follow them again later when I have 2 spots.
I think that was it. And if it wasn't, my computer's in the red, guys. We have managed to suck the battery out of the little old Mac. So this was fun, and it was long, and you guys that hung out, you like need a cookie or something.
You guys did great.
Not a cookie. Probably not a cookie. Go get a chew. And it was really nice to meet Heather's team, and I love you guys for jumping on to my team. I love you.
You guys learned something. I loved seeing your team, Lindsay, and
good.
Everybody's faces. That was fun.
It was very fun. We will make sure to do it again. And just to answer y'all's questions, Heather's got a document that is about like how to work a power hour. Pumped about that. She's going to share that with me. You guys on her team that asked me about my daily action plan, I'm happy to share it with you. I have a daily one and a weekly one. I'll share that with Heather. She can share it with you guys. And if there's any more like lingering questions or, hey, I need a document on this or something, we will wrap up. We will get those from each other and share them with our own teams so that there's Okay. Awesome. Thanks for joining in. I will also share the recording with her, and you guys have an awesome night. Thanks for joining.